Okay, good day everyone, and especially to our instructor, Doc Fidelina Yuran. Okay, today, let's talk about the authentic assessment and assessment of process and product. Okay, so authentic assessment, let's talk first about authentic assessment. So authentic assessment, it talks about, from the word itself, authentic, it means true or it means legit. Okay, in assessment, the meaning of assessment is, it is the evaluation or a test of a person's work or a person's output or performance. That is assessment. So the authentic assessment defines, evaluates the students' collective skills and abilities to perform and demonstrate the task in a real world situation to determine how much they learned to with a meaningful application. So it says here that authentic assessment, it is an evaluation of the collective skills of a students or abilities of the students. If we talk about the collective skills or the abilities, those are the skills that they learn to their past topic or their past lesson. Okay, that is collective skills. For example, the student can draw a picture. The students can paint. It's because they learn it from for their lessons. Okay, they can sing, they can dance. It's because they learned it. They have the stored knowledge to perform it. So that is the collective skills. And also, it is to perform and demonstrate the task in a real world situation to determine how much they learned with meaningful application. Okay, the authentic assessment, it is to evaluate the collective skills, not only to evaluate their collective skills, but to also to apply it in the real world situation. Okay, those are the talents that they learned, that they acquired. They can perform it, they can make it, okay, in the real world situation. They can perform it even if they are not in school. They can perform it even without the supervision of the teacher, or without the guidance of the teacher. So that is the authentic assessment, meaningful application. And also, it involves performance tests and portfolio assessment. Okay, so in this situation, okay, it involves a performance test. It's because, why is this performance test? It's because performance, it is because it we'll talk about here in hands-on learning. Okay, you can make it, you can play it, because you have a learnings. Okay, so in performance test is it, and the performance test and portfolio assessment, the performance test is a measure which often makes use of manipulating materials to develop students' skills and abilities. Okay, it involves the performance test and portfolio assessment. Okay, performance test, it is a measure which often makes use of manipulating materials to develop students' skills and abilities. Okay, why it involves performance tests in authentic assessments? It's because we are evaluating their own performance based on how they use the materials given to them, and how to provide, and how to use, and how to perform it using the direction or the procedure given to them by the teacher. So it is important to assess them by doing those procedure in making their outputs. So for instance, for this example, for instance, the students is to debone a milkfish. The instructional objective is given one milkfish, knife, basin, water, and a tray. So in this situation, it talks about the spoon feeding teaching. It's because the teacher should provide those materials that are needed to the output, to the lesson, and the teacher should provide the direction and the procedure of the lesson. So okay, a student will be able to split the milkfish within 20 minutes and debone the fish and wash the fish. So we can see here that we test, or we evaluate the performance of the students based on their performance by using those materials using and following those direction and procedure. Okay. After they finish the product, okay, after they finish the product, boneless milkfish as performance of the students is assessed by self, peer, teacher, and teacher advisor with the use of rubric assessment. So, what is rubric assessment? It says here that the performance should be assessed by their self, their peer, their teacher, and their teacher advisor by the use of rubric assessment. So rubric assessment, it is an assessment where it is contains of different criteria and ratings. Okay? So by this rubric assessment, we can fairly evaluate the products or the output of the students. We cannot give a bias. We cannot give a bias judgment. Okay, so it is important to have a rubric assessment. This learning outcome of the student must be placed in his portfolio after the representation, after the assessment of their outputs. It is important to place it into the portfolio to have a legal basis or references. Okay, references. Whether the assessment is excellent for 5, okay? This I am talking about the score of the assessment, okay? Excellent is 5, 4 for very good, and 3 for fair. Excellent is for 5, very good for 4, good for 3, and fair for 2, and 1 is poor. Okay, so this is not only in the it is only for example of assessment, but there are some examples of the assessment on the criteria. The criteria of rubric assessments, for example, they are neat and clean. So the neat and clean is will be given on 5 points in the highest points. Neat and clean and fair and done in the duration time. So it is an example of a criteria in rubric assessment. In 4, for example, the output of the student is clean and presentable, but not in the duration time, that not beyond in the duration time that are given to the teacher. So the students of the score of the students is 4. It's because they are not meet the criteria of the assessment. So that is, so in other words, the authentic assessment, okay? In other words, the authentic assessment, the student is exposed to the real world situation to perform his task with the best of his skills and abilities. Okay, so the students will, if we will having the assessment of the students' output, we can let them to explore. If we assess, if the students will assess their work, okay, they can evaluate their products, they can evaluate their outputs on how to enhance it, on how to improve it based on their outputs, based on the criticism of those peers, those classmates, those teachers, and other people that are criticize their outputs. So we can letting them explore and improve their talents and their skills and their outputs. Okay, so that is the authentic assessment. We can let them assess. So criterion references is a measure to use assess the performance of the students in authentic assessment. It is more on psychomotor domain. Why it is psychomotor domain? It is talks about the hands-on performance. Okay, it is work by the hands or our strength or our skills. Okay, so we can assess them by the performance, by their performance based on our given procedure and materials. Okay, that's it. Let's move on characteristic of authentic assessment. So authentic assessment, it talks about authentic assessment requires the student to perform meaningful tasks in a real-world situation. So we can let them assess themselves, their outputs based on what they perform without in the classroom, without in the supervision of the teacher. So they can assess it. They can assess they can apply to the real field, to the real situation, so that they can sustain their learnings on what they have learned in the classroom. They will apply to the real situation. They will sustain the learnings that they acquired. Okay, so that is the number one. Let's move on to number two. It promotes the development of higher order thinking skills because it evaluates, including self and peer, have to think wisely and precisely, the rating to the most appropriate to the student's performance from the excellence down to poor. Okay? Okay, it promotes also in our higher thinking skills. If we talk about higher order thinking skills, it talks about the critical thinking. Okay, critical thinking. Ano man? On how to to evaluate on how good it is, on how good the performance of the students, or how good the performance of your classmates when we talk about peer. Okay, so we can assess them. We can also improve our judging abilities, okay, with our criticism abilities to criticize our students, or our students or our classmates if we are students. Okay, so that is, it promotes our higher order thinking skills. Okay, it tenders direct evidence of application, construction of knowledge and skills acquired. For instance, the students demonstrate and constructs on-paper mosaics projects made of waste papers and old newspapers. Okay, so it says that it directs evidence of application and construction of knowledge and skills acquired. So the main point of this is the portfolio or class or portfolio. It's because the portfolio, it is a series of tasks. It is a series of tasks where contains of different outputs and procedure. If you are in your real world situation in your field, you can refresh because of the portfolio. Okay, because portfolio is the storage of your outputs, where you can rescan it and open it so that you can refresh. Okay, so it is also an evidence and reference of your output, of your work, so that you can tell it to your peers, to your teacher, that you are gonna do it. It is applicable for applying your work, so those achievements, those outputs, you can pass it, you can show it, so that it serves as your references. Okay, that it's your legal basis or evidences. Fourth, it includes portfolio collection of entire entries, as I said in number 3. Okay, so okay, 5 and number 5, it demonstrates application of particular knowledge and skills. Okay, it demonstrates the application of particular knowledge and skills. Also, not only in evaluating our output, it is also to demonstrate in application. It is representing to the other people of our knowledge and skills. We can learn, we learn it, and we can pass it to the other people or the other person. Okay, we can share it, we can pass it, we can present it well. Okay, particularly in our skills and our knowledge, we can share it to the people. Okay, in number 6, it fosters role playing of the lesson learned by the students, which serves as a show window to them. Okay, if you are a teacher and your system or your strategy is to role play, okay, it is beneficial. It's very beneficial to the students. It's because they are already experienced it. in and only on role playing. It's because they are experience it in the real life situation, okay, by playing this role playing, okay. So in their times when they are grow, when they field, they can they can um, they can they can perform it well. It's because they are experience it already, okay. So it is important to have a role playing in our teaching. Now, in number 7, it identifies the performance of the students' acquired skills and expertise. For example, the students is identified, okay, it identifies the performance of students' acquired skills and expertise. Example, the students identified on his expertise on milkfish deboning. That's our example a while ago. So, milkfish deboning. Through these skills acquired, he could demonstrate technology transfer of bangus deboning to the people of the community where milkfish is abundant. By so doing, the end users can avail of this technology and put up the small, medium enterprises and livelihood project. Hence, they can augment their income, alleviate their poverty, and improve the quality of life. So, I am talking here in number 7, I am talking here about entrepreneurship. Based on the learnings that we acquired in the school, okay, especially in TLE and arts, we can make it a profitable business if we enhance and we improve our skills that we are learning to the school. We can make a money because of that skills that we are learning in our school. So in this situation, in this example, okay, the students are expert and they can share it to the people who are needed of this situation, okay. So that is number 7. It identifies the performance of the students' acquired skills and expertise. We can improve it, we can enhance it, and we can make it as a profitable livelihood business, okay. So that is number 7. Also in number 8, it assesses directly holistic project by multiple human judgment like self, peer, subject, teacher, and advisor, okay. We can it is same as this number 6 and number 3, okay. It assesses the directly project of multiple human judgment like self, peer, subject, teacher, and advisor. If we can if we have a people that that criticize us, we can improve it, and we can enhance it on what are those flaws, what are those things that we need to improve, that our output is that to our output, okay. So by the assessment of the students, peers, teachers, and class advisors, we can know, we can make it better based on their criticism. If their criticism is low or not something good, not so good, we can use it use it as a motivation, so that we can enhance our output, we can make it better, we can improve it. So that is. And number 9, it trains the students to evaluate their own work as well as their peers. In assessment, we can also train our students to assess it fairly or honestly, okay. It trains the students to evaluate their own work as well as their peers. This is beneficial for them, is because they are begin to train themselves on how to assess or how to judge the outputs of others. Okay, number 10, okay, it is designed on criterion, reference, measures rather than norm references measured. The strengths and weaknesses of the students have been identified rather than to compare students' performance with other students. So it is designed based on the criterion references measured. So we measured it by using our criteria, our rubrics. It is used by the it is assessed by the weakness of the students or the strength of the the students, the strength of the students. So we are assessing them one by one based on their profile, based on their skills. Okay, that's all.